So I attempted a challenge in which I tried to not use my phone for 24 hours, and I failed miserably. But to be honest, even before starting the day, I knew I already was somewhat going to fail miserably, but I still wanted to engage in this and try my hardest to stick to some parameters in which I had set for myself. And it was quite an interesting experience.
I literally just went to pick up my phone. I actually picked it up, unplugged it, and was about to carry it downstairs with me. Autopilot. I don't need to do that. I don't need to take my phone downstairs. I'll literally be like 5 minutes. Okay, this is going to be a bit to get used to.
And I have a lot of thoughts that I started to gain whilst preparing for this video, but were solidified by the end of the day. And also some somewhat surprising thoughts that popped up throughout the day. But I attempted to vlog my day without my phone.
Hi. Hello. Do you want to come upstairs with Mummy for coffee in bed? Would you like that? Coffee in bed with Mummy. Yes.
I think there are a few factors that can go into whether or not this kind of challenge could be successful if this is something that you try to attempt. I still don't know what is the right answer, but I was pondering a lot throughout the day on whether, because I genuinely feel like 10 years ago, I probably could have done this a lot easier. But I don't know if I feel that way because 10 years ago I was 22 and I didn't have as many responsibilities and as many things going on. Or if it's because 10 years ago technology was very different and somewhat less advanced, and so was my phone. Or maybe it's a bit of both.
Aren't we so lucky to have cuddles in bed together?
You can't have pawpaw cream, honey. No, you can't have coffee. You can't. No, I'm sorry.
I think that there are a few factors that go into whether or not this could be a successful day for you. I think those things could be things like your lifestyle, your personality, where you are mentally, emotionally, energetically. If you are like on the edge of your tether and you're like on the verge of burnout, this could be amazing for you. It'd be like throwing your phone into an ocean and just living without it for a day. And that would probably be very healing for some of you. But like I said, it's really dependent on that, but also your lifestyle and your personality. If you are a woman with a full household or a man with a full household and you have people at you all week and then people at you all weekend and a house full of screaming children or just a house full of people, this could be really wonderful for you. If your personality is someone who is a lot more withdrawn and introverted and you prefer a lot more of your own personal space and your alone time, this again could be something wonderful for you. But alternatively, if you are someone who maybe is a little bit more extroverted or you just enjoy and you get a lot of energy from connection, or you simply live alone and you're already used to spending a lot of time by yourself, removing your phone from your day could actually further isolate you. So I think that these are all things to consider when, or if you're considering doing something like this.
I'm still going to use my phone, but for things that are, in my opinion, what I deem to be essential or things that I just simply want to be able to use my phone for. So, for instance, a bit of a layout of the plan for today. My nephew's coming over this morning, I think. Might be having a FaceTime call or a phone call today. Going over to my friend's house for dinner tonight. We're going to have dinner at her house. I'm going to meet her. It's not really her dog, but she is fostering a rescue dog, and I'm so excited to meet her. And she's going to teach me how to make her tiramisu. And I do have to keep my phone on me as well because I have something happening this afternoon. I'm being very vague, I'm sorry. I have something like a project I've been working on, and I've got something to do with that this afternoon as well. Yeah. When I was actually thinking about doing this video, I realized all of these things, and I was like, oh, how do I do this? Like, how do I do this with that? A friend that I'm catching up with tonight, she's not 100% sure on the time yet. She's got some things on today, so she said she'll let me know. So I need my phone for that. Same with my nephew. Like, you know, he's young. I need to make sure I have my phone on me in case, you know, his mum, my sister calls. Yeah, even just little things like leaving to go see my friend tonight. My phone is how I control my alarm. Pretty much set up I'm not going to show you now because I'm not going to touch my phone, but I've turned off pretty much all my notifications for everything except the major things that I deem to be important. I've also set up a new lock on my app Opal that I use. I've talked about Opal before. It's that paid app that I use to track and kind of keep me out of certain apps. I think I want to try to keep up with this particular habit every Sunday. Like, I don't want this just to be a one and done thing in which I try to film a video for it and then whatever. Like, I actually am trying to make my Sundays the most tech-free day I can of the week, obviously within reason, because I do think we're living in a world now where that's kind of impossible, which we will talk more about throughout the video. I'm going to just pick up my phone now because I do have a text to respond to that's somewhat urgent. Again, I'm so vague, it's annoying. Just personal stuff. And then I'm going to just sit here and enjoy my day. And I'll probably just check in with you throughout the day to see how I'm going and to see how this feels, because it already feels weird. I'm laying in bed talking to a camera. It already feels weird. Okay. I'll pick them up from you. I'm just going to put my phone over here. I'm just going to sit here in silence now. What an interesting concept.
I already knew that this day was going to be somewhat of a fail for me. Fail, I say, but I still think I got a lot of value out of it. There were certain things, as I mentioned, I think, throughout today's video in the little snippets and the cutouts, that I needed my phone on for. There was like a multitude of things I was considering while preparing for this challenge. I thought, right, well, I could either cancel my plans, cancel certain things, move certain things around. There are certain things that I could have done. Sure, I could have cancelled my plans. I could have spent the day alone. Even debated whether or not I should have my WhatsApp set up on my laptop and have my laptop open and then have my laptop with me at all times, just so I could keep in contact with the people I needed to keep in contact with. But that felt incredibly counterproductive.
I'm supposed to be just reading in silence, but I started a new book that my friend recommended called Tiny Beautiful Things. This is so prevalent to what I'm trying to do today, but I already feel like I'm failing miserably. I happen to believe that America is dying of loneliness. I mean, the author says America, but I honestly think it's a worldwide Western, probably mainly Western problem. That we as a people have bought into the false dream of convenience and turned away from a deep engagement with our internal lives. We're hurtling through time and space and information faster and faster, seeking that network connection. But at the same time, we're falling away from our families and our neighbours and ourselves. We ego surf and update our status and brush up on which celebrities are ruining themselves and how. But the cure won't stick.
So I instead decided to use this challenge as a way in which to see if I could try my hardest not to use my phone as often as I would normally. I still kept it as a device, which I think was its original intended use, much like a landline phone, as a way to communicate, as a way to keep in contact and connect with people. That's predominantly what I use my phone for. And it made me realize that a lot of hours that actually go into my phone usage don't have anything to do with connection, communication, or speaking to other human beings. And that was a big realization for me throughout this 24 hours.
Oh my god. Oh, okay. This is a really good book, and I'm only one column in.
I was, however, very proud of myself for the effort and the challenge that I set out and the hours that I actually ended up with. I actually ended up with, I think, 2 hours of phone usage for the whole day, which was actually pretty great for me, and 60 pickups. I think it was on like 62 or 63 pickups. That is very low for me. That's one of my lowest scores since I've started to try to be a bit more aware of my phone usage.
I used alarm for 22 minutes. That's random. First pickup is at 1:44 a.m. Interesting. That must have been when I woke up and had that real weird, like I had a weird thing in the middle of the night. I don't know if it was the storm, but I woke up and I was like, I must have grabbed my phone.
Looking back, sure, I probably could have chose to not use my phone as an actual way to communicate with people.
Do you like Perth? This kind of like reminds me of a big Adelaide.
Hello? I can't believe that Steve Harrington is that Dijon guy who sings that song.
It would have just further isolated me. And that really wasn't the point of this challenge, and that's not really something that I'm looking to get out of life right now. So I didn't want to do that.
I don't know how much of that conversation I'm going to keep in. But my sister just called me, and that was just a little 5-minute conversation. And yeah, again, like, I feel like a part of me, and this is just my own personal, I'd be like, oh, a part of me is like, oh, I'm failing, I'm not doing this properly. But then the other part of me is like, these are the people I love. Like, these are the people I love and care about. And some people might be so down to ignore phone calls and like tell their loved ones that, look, they're not going to be answering the phone for a day kind of thing. But I'm also in this, and I don't know if it's just because of where I'm at my cycle, but I'm also just in this real place of really appreciating the people. I don't know, again, maybe it's because it's Christmas time, like it's coming up to Christmas time. Like, I'm just very much in the place of really like wanting to be present with the people I love and really appreciating the people I love and just being really grateful for the people I love and the people in my life. And I, you know, like, imagine if I just didn't answer that phone call, and God, I don't mean to be morbid, but what if that was the last time I got to speak to my sister? I don't even like to think of that, but you just never know what tomorrow will bring. Anyway, this has got strangely morbid, so I'm going to go play the drums now. My little timer here from Amazon.
5 o'clock is when it all went downhill. And I gave up and the phone won.
For example, 70 Park Lane in London.
And I gave in. I gave in to my phone.
I did not understand the address. Make sure there is no background noise.
Oh my God. I've literally been here for 10 minutes at this point, trying to get my maps to work, and it's not working. Look, it literally says unable to calculate route.
And this is something I already knew about myself, but this was very much highlighted to me again, and now all of you, is that I am terrible with maps and I'm terrible with direction.
This is my friend's house, and I've been to her house like I don't even know how many times I've been to her house. I've been to her house a handful of times, and I don't know how to get there.
And the fact that I could not even get to my friend's house without a map is probably alarming. Like, I like to think I'm pretty with it and like pay attention and concentrate on the road, but I obviously must drift into some level of autopilot to literally be able to drive places and not know how I got there. That's a bit alarming, isn't it? But I don't think I'm alone in that.
I'm laughing because it's really embarrassing. To be honest, guys, like, I'm running on like 6 hours and 45 minutes of sleep, which is not much for me. And it's that time of the month, and I really can't. Like, if it wasn't 5 o'clock in the afternoon, I would go back inside and print out and try to, because this would be funny for the video, wouldn't it? But I think we know where this is going. I am incapable of doing this without my phone because my car maps isn't working, and I don't know why.
And I told myself I wasn't going to use it on the way home, but I then proceeded to use it on the way home.
The phone wins. The phone wins. The phone wins. This is the moment that's tested me the most today, I'd say. And I'm a little bit annoyed. I'm a little bit annoyed that the phone won. The phone won against my mushy, tired brain. All right, you know what? We're going. I'm going to listen to the radio now because I'm not fully giving up. I'm going to listen to the radio. Ding, 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 ding.
I actually left her house a lot later than I thought I was going to, and it was dark and the streets didn't look the same, and I just couldn't seem to navigate my way out of the maze of like suburbia to make my way to a main road. So I used it for that. It's not my finest moment, but other than the maps, the other thing that I used my phone for, after I realized that the phone had won and I resulted to maps, I was angry at myself, and I was just in a real like mood. I don't know if it was my lack of sleep with also like my hormonal time of the month, but I was just in a mood, and I didn't want to get to my friend's house in this bad, foul mood. I just didn't want that. And I had just, one of the things actually I missed more than social media and using my phone for all those other little things all day was music. I missed music so much. And I think, again, like, this goes back to lifestyle and where you're at in life and what phase of life you're in. If you are someone who has a house full of screaming children, there would be nothing more you'd love than the sound of silence. It is a beautiful thing. It is. But on the other end of that spectrum, if you are someone who lives alone, you would know what the sound of silence sounds like and how too much of it can actually affect your mood. A lot of the time when I am home alone, I love to have a little bit of that background noise, and I love music. I think everybody does. What I've come to realize is some people just listen to it a lot more than others. Like, I listen to a lot of music.
After my phone call, I went to the gym. I actively chose to not listen to music, which I'm not going to lie, was really hard. It wasn't my favorite workout. I didn't really enjoy it that much. Me and myself and my thoughts and my counting of my reps with no music.
I'm very much into the curation of my own music playlist. Like, I am not usually someone who can get in a car and listen to the radio. It's just not for me. I love to listen to the music that I love to listen to. And after I had that little somewhat of a failure with the maps, I was just in a pissy mood. And I was flipping through all the friggin' radio stations trying to find a song that would put me in a better mood. And I just said, okay. And I stuck on my Spotify for, I think, all of 2 songs. Like, I put 2 songs on, and then all of a sudden my mood was lifted. And I was like, you know what? It's not the end of the world, Caitlin. It's not a big deal. You're on your way to your friend's house to have a really yummy dinner, which actually, if you follow me on Instagram, it was the dinner with the earwig in it. So, yeah, there was an earwig in my dinner. It's not a good time. Not a good time. And for a lot of people, I will have a photo of an earwig because I realized maybe that's an Australian bug. I don't know. Anyway, it was disgusting. We can't talk about it. I'm going to start dry reaching again. But anyway, and then I turned off my Spotify 2 songs in, and I went back to listening to the radio. That was probably the most challenging thing for me, is the music and the maps, the 2 M's.
It's been a good few hours since I last spoke to you, but I didn't pull my phone out really at all whilst I was at my friend's house. But that's kind of not really uncommon for me. I'm not someone who spends any time. Actually, let me just quickly message her. I've got to let her know that I got home. Sorry, I just had to respond and let her know that I made it home safe. And I didn't pull out my phone really at all. I even brought a notepad. I brought a notepad to take notes while she was teaching me how to make the tiramisu. It looks horrible with the Glad wrap, but I'm so excited. I can't wait to try some tomorrow. But the only time I put out my phone was to order the Thai food. And that reminds me, I need to transfer her money because she paid for it. So again, that's another thing that would be so much easier if I could just do it on my phone. Yeah, give me cuddles. You missed Mummy, didn't you? Come back. Did you miss Mummy? Oh, did you miss Mumsy? Did you miss Mumsy? Oh, my little caboodle.
End of that day, feeling more assured, maybe is the word, I don't know, but strong in my belief of how I feel about technology and how I feel about social media and how I feel about my phone at this current time. I've been on every end of the spectrum, and I've had every belief about my phone, ranging from, oh my God, phones and technology and social media is horrible. We should burn them all to the ground, throw them out and go live in the woods and skip around a fire together. And some people genuinely love that, and they love that idea, and they want to live that lifestyle. I've been on the other end of the spectrum where I've spent obscene and unhealthy amount of hours on my phone, relying on my phone and living through my phone, and that's not really healthy for me either. And the place that I'm at now, with the realizations I've had throughout that day, I mean, first of all, the fact that I can't even turn on my house alarm without my phone, and there's so many little things that I use my phone for throughout the day, other than a way to communicate with others and connect with others, that make my life better. I don't see myself living in a world without technology, to be honest. It's only going to increase, and our usage is probably going to increase, unfortunately. But I realize that if you're someone who believes that social media and technology and phones are bad, I've been there, and I realize after this day that believing that and spending my time thinking about it like that doesn't really make it go away, and it doesn't really make it any better. So where I'm at now is I'm trying, obviously I'm not someone who really wants to opt out of technology, but I'm trying to look at my phone now and also social media as just simply an object, and how I choose to engage in that makes it either good or bad. Does that make sense? The fact that I can use this to connect with people and to make me feel happy and make me feel joy, and I can have phone calls with people. The fact that I can use this as a tool to connect with people and to communicate with people and to have a good time and to joke and to find time to catch up with them and connect. That's really important to me. But the fact that I can also use it to turn on my phone alarms is also really important to me. And the fact that it also, doubles as a metronome and a timer and a calculator and can be a calendar and can be many things. It makes my life more convenient. But I think where it can become dangerous is where you predominantly stop using it as a tool for connection with a tad of convenience, and use it more as a crutch and a way in which to live through other people's lives, and to sit on your phone and scroll and view other people's lives and live your life through a phone and through other people's lives and through strangers' lives. I think that's where it's becomes a problem, and that's for me personally where it has become a problem in the past. I ended this day with a real gratitude for my phone and for my ability to use my phone, and I do see myself continuing to have a day like predominantly Sunday, especially now that I've set up my Opal app to have like all of the apps pretty much blocked. I really now want to move forward with my weeks with predominantly most likely Sunday to be I'm not going to say a phone-less day, but a day in which I spend less time on my phone. And who knows, maybe I can break that 2 hour and 60 something pickup time record. Like maybe I can get it lower than that. I didn't want this challenge to be like a one and done kind of thing. I wanted to do something that I actually could maintain and that I could actually stick with long term. I love my alone time, but I also like to connect with people, and I like to use my phone to connect with people. So yeah, I'm really glad I managed to do this. I'm really proud of myself for how I chose to use my phone, and I didn't break. I didn't actually have any real strong desire to check Instagram or any social media platforms really. And I never really, before the last few months, thought of my phone in this much detail. I just kind of was living on autopilot and, you know, opening up my social media apps and checking this, that, and the other. And I feel like it's only been the last few months that I've actually sat down with myself and trying to look at every single thing in my life and every single area and every single hour and the time I spend. And yeah, I'm seeing my phone in a very different way. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. I hope I gave you something to think about. And if you are looking to reduce your phone usage, you don't have to completely go cold turkey, because I think for some people it's not possible. It's really not possible in this day and age, especially if you have commitments, if you have people that need to reach you, or maybe you have certain work commitments or things that you need to be reachable for. I think you can still engage in a day like this at just intentional phone usage, and I think that you can still get a lot of benefit out of it. So thank you so much for joining me in today's video. I'm going to have another few links for you there if you want to check those out. I'm looking forward to hearing from you in the comments down below if maybe this is something you're going to try to do on a particular day of the week, maybe your least busy day of the week. I'd love to hear from you in the comments down below. Thank you so much for joining me in today's video, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.